Yo, what's good, people? This is Sports Debate Tuesday. Yo, it's been a minute. My boy Robbie, welcome back. Buckle your seatbelts, people. Strap in. The episode starts right now. Rob McLean, I have a question for you before we get started on our subject matter. Who is the punter for the Buffalo Bills? You don't know who he is, right? You don't know who he
The
is,
punter
right?
I
Yeah,
know
I
he
know.
is.
Yeah, look, you don't know who he is. I know who he is. Okay, he's Matt Hawk. But you don't know who he is because they scored on every single possession. They scored on. Yeah, he could have just stayed in the hotel. Yo, Buffalo's cold, man. Buffalo is cold. It was brick. I think it was like 1 degree out there Fahrenheit. I don't even know. I mean, and felt looked like it was dropping. But my team, the Buffalo Bills, scored on every single possession. Well coached game, and my man Bill Belichick, looking like the emperor with his hoodie, got ousted the way his team should have. He coached them up, they overachieved, and everyone thought that they had a shot at going to the Super Bowl. And at the end of the day, they were who we thought they were. All right. Hey, this is Sports Debate Tuesday, along with my man, Rob. Keep it. McLean. McLean. I'm Jason DeBias. I'm your host with the most, and welcome. This is another episode of Sports Debate Tuesday where we're going to talk about some football, maybe a little NBA, mixed martial arts, maybe do a repair and replace with tennis, you know, Djokovic in the Australian Open. But first, Rob, first things first, the elephant in the room. The First of all, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy and healthy.
You know what's coming next. When they win, we got to talk about them. When they lose, we got to talk about them. It's 2 days later. This is a Sports Debate Tuesday, and everybody's still talking about the Dallas Cowboys. First of all, what a great weekend in football, okay? The league had their first Monday night game, and we were glad because it would have been hard to cram all that football into just 2 days. So 3 days is really good, all right? Seven teams, 6 games. So we had an extra pick six for the weekend. Rob, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get our results because right now it's just you and me, mano a mano. And the big question has been asked on every sports talk show, and because of that, I really wanted to go another route. But since it keeps rearing its ugly head everywhere we go, let's talk about America's team. And I'm using that term loosely, the Dallas Cowboys. They lost to the San Francisco 49ers 23 to 17. The Niners were run heavy, dominating time of possession in the first half and hung on to win. But no one is talking about the Niners win, Rob. Everybody's talking about the Cowboys loss. And since everybody's talking about it, and it's a sports debate show, here's the question. I talked enough. The floor is yours, Rob. The question is, who is to blame for this loss?
Well, on a short note, you got to give it up to the defensive line of the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, that's first and foremost. But if you're going to talk about who's to blame on the Cowboys, I mean, the blame goes all around. I think that the stars didn't step up. The all pros didn't play as all pros. Their offensive line didn't push it like get the push they're supposed to get. Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard didn't, miss the tackles they usually miss. I think everybody just kind of didn't play their best. And I think that's kind of, like what again we were talking about with, what Stephen A. Smith was saying. This is just you just have to kind of understand what you see. It's amazing that they got Dak Prescott, but they didn't plan for Dak Prescott. He kind of fell into their lap. So whatever team they've formed already is kind of had the foundations of whatever Jerry Jones created back in when 2010, 2011. So it's a team that has bad foundations. It's an older offensive line. They're getting hurt all the time. They're not playing at their best. You know, it's just a team that's kind of fallen apart at the seams. So no matter how many games they win, how good Dak Prescott played, because I do believe he probably played the best football I've seen played all season. At the beginning part of the year, but that doesn't matter. Well, you got to play the best when it matters for that one game for 4 games in a row to win a Super Bowl, and that's what they consistently showed they would not be able to do when the game mattered. they stunk, and that's what happened today. I mean,
So who's to
that's what happened
blame?
on Sunday.
Rob,
So
who's to blame?
everybody, everybody,
Give me
man. I mean, the
someone, Rob.
coach,
Come on.
I mean, I'll say McCarthy, but it's hard because it's his first year. I could say it's the GM because they went for Michael Parsons who didn't show up in a big game. I could say it's the coaching staff because they didn't prepare their players, and I could say it's the players because they didn't show up. I honestly believe top to bottom, this team has bad leadership, and it starts with the coach and right on through the locker room. So
So if you can define their entire season and remnants of whatever postseason they make, right? And if you wanted to summarize what the Cowboys have been about for one play, that last play was it. They're
absolutely,
brave, They when sometimes they're behind, and when it's time to cowboy up, they do, and they had this momentum, and then this big snowball rolling down the hill gets bigger and bigger, and you think it's going to become this unstoppable thing, and then when it's their turn to reach up and grab that brass ring to the next level, albeit going to the playoffs or going to the next round, maybe, NFC championship game, people talking all that shit about that, it slips through their fingers. I mean, I'm a first take thing, and I'm not trying to plug Stephen A all the time because this is our own show. We got our own shit. But somehow, when it counts just wait, they will let you down. That play, that quarterback sneak, first of all, was an extremely silly call to make because when you slide, you're gonna have 10 seconds. That referee was moving. I mean, there's been a lot of complaints about the referee and not he had to spot the ball and this and that. And for me, my answer is twofold. Okay, first of all, I don't know how faster you wanted that guy to go. That guy literally split the tackle between the center, Dak Prescott, and whoever the left tackle or left guard was. He literally had to bully his way through and respot that ball. So I ain't blaming no referee, okay? Second of all, you are a professional football player. They are professional coaches, all right? These guys are not waiting fucking tables at night, Rob, okay? And moonlighting coaching. If you're gonna call a quarterback draw, you have to know as a coach that you don't get to spot the ball. You don't spot the ball. The referee does. The referee does. Any decent professional player, and we've seen Aaron Rodgers do it. We've seen so many high IQ players. And I'm just gonna say medium level IQ. It doesn't even require high level IQ to do this. We've seen them slide. We see them stay in bounds. And the first thing they do, what do, Rob? They throw the ball to the ref and they set up as fast as possible. The ref has a clear path. Don't have to weed through the line of scrimmage. He plants, boom, tick. You got 1 second and you got a shot at the end zone. They didn't get.
yeah.
I mean, there's no question. The question isn't who got robbed. Did they get robbed? No, because even if they get that, there's no guarantee that they hit a Hail Mary, right? They're still down by 6, and that team might even miss the extra point. So, long spiel, because I had to get this out of my system, and this is, we ain't got to talk about them pretty much ever again for the rest of, at least forever, for the rest of the season. Who's the blame? It's the San Francisco 49ers, man. This guy, Shanahan, took the tools he had. This guy's healthy. This guy's all right. Took the tools he had and stretched them to the maximum of their capacity. Who's player of the game, Rob? Say it with me.
Kyle Shanahan.
Player of the game, Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, but yeah,
That man ran. He caught all-purpose yards. And I say they were the reason the Cowboys lost because they got the lead. They got the turnovers they wanted. And when they got a turnovers, they scored on said turnovers. And then when they had a lead and this dude Garoppolo was throwing interceptions and this and that, the coach said, okay, hey, take the rest of the day off. We're going to play defense. We're going to run the ball. And it will take a miracle for them to win this game. Very well coached game. He got ahead. And I know the Cowboys had some bad breaks, but they had a bad break too, right? I mean, on 4th down, that quarterback sneak, they got the first down, but there was a pre-snap penalty, right? False start. So they forced them to punt it. So I think if they get that, right? We're not even having this conversation about Dak Prescott. That's a wrap. Okay. So to answer that question, who's to blame? Yeah, McCarthy. Not, I mean, I don't even. I'm not going to call him a bad coach. I just don't see his presence. I don't see his coaching
Right.
presence. I don't. If he wasn't there, we wouldn't even know. If he wasn't there on the sideline, no one would be asking anyone seen McCarthy.
Well, I gotta say this, like as much as, and I do this too, as much as I like harp on how bad McCarthy is, and I don't think he was the right decision, but I do think he was probably the best choice at that time
Right.
for a professional coach, and that's what they needed. They needed someone that wasn't
Yeah.
a guy from in the organization. You got to remember they were coming from Jason Garrett. You know what I mean? Like they got to move on from a guy that was within an organization, a very professional coach. And I believe that's what McCarthy is. And I think he'll be here next season because they went 13-3. They did really
Oh,
well,
12-5. Yeah.
12-5.
Yeah. And
But
I agree.
they
Not
had
a
a
whole lot of
great
coaches are going to
season.
have that team finish 12-5, right? I mean,
So, and I still think that they overachieved, well overachieved for not only the amount of injuries they had, but for the competition that they could have played down to. That's a thing too. So, yeah, I mean, I think that they're just without playoff experience, and if you can key it up to that, then yeah, I think they'll be there next season. I think they have a great chance of being successful because if they have all their pieces, they're healthy. Their defense looks scary, and their offense is just like unstoppable. They have so many weapons, so
yeah.
you just kind of have to piece together a couple offensive line pieces in the draft, and you get rolling. But yeah, I don't think it's that bad, but it's just kind of funny how um, quick fans are to just like talking about Josh Allen being better than Patrick Mahomes. That's crazy talk. But
Yeah.
people
I'm a
just being in
Buffalo
the
Bills
moment.
fan. I ain't even going to say that. I'm a Buffalo Bills
Yeah,
fan. I'm a lifelong Bills fan. Whoever says that is out of their mind. You ain't got to worry about. Listen, you ain't got to worry about Buffalo Bill fans saying this is our defining moment. You're not going to worry about Buffalo Bills fans saying, "Oh, we are now ready to launch." You're not going to look at Buffalo Bill fans and say, "I think we're going to the Super Bowl." You're not one
right.
Buffalo Bills fans unless he's wearing like that
Even
guy
right
wearing the
now,
denim. Remember that guy wearing a denim jacket and like the Buffalo Bill socks or whatever? Maybe that guy. And that guy thinks Super Bowl every year, but we are realistic. We're not. We're not. The reason why people hate the Cowboys is not because we hate Dak Prescott. This is a class act. It's class personified. I mean,
every fan
yes,
says we're going to the Super Bowl. Every
yes.
fan says we're going to
It's
win every
nauseating, dude.
game, beat every team, and we're the best team of all time. Have you seen our team? Trust me, I know.
Dude, you just
So
open your
that's
mouth
why
a
it's
little
like,
bit right now. I mean,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No, that's just what it is.
So, yeah, so I kind of delight when people are annoying, but I'm not an animal. I'm not an evil person. Okay, I'm not a. I mean, Stephen A. Smith. If you saw that video, that compilation video with all the people crying and him laughing like a witch, that is some Schadenfreude shit right there. I have a soft spot for these people now because I see someone's emotion and how bad they want it, Rob. And I actually have some pictures. Let me show you. Actually, it's right here. I'm sad for that woman. That woman wanted that for her team in a bad way. What's next? That dude, who is not going to be sad for that guy? You know? All right, maybe not him. We're going to skip him. All right. Oh, God. Oh, good Lord. That is some General Hospital shit right there, dude. That is some Hollywood shit right there, dude. All right. And that's it. That's it. So, yeah, I guess we literally closed the door on them, at least for this season. But I think you're right. I think if they can have 80% or 70% of the culture and like everybody being all in, like the Tampa Bay Bucks are, because I still pick Tampa Bay to win. They're missing all these people, and I don't know. Maybe Rodgers. I mean, with all those people, can they survive Rodgers? I mean, we could talk about that later too. But if Dallas is in on that, not even on that same level, I think they could win 13 games next year. I think they could win 13 or 14 games next year. And they'll feast on the East again, right? The East ain't gonna do shit. Joe Judge gone, right? Eagles, Jalen Hurts
Yeah, we're
probably
gonna
going to need another
rebuild,
year. Washington,
rebuild,
Washington's a team without a
rebuild.
name. That's a quarterback that named after a muffler. No, I mean, I mean, who wouldn't want to be in that division right now, right? So,
It's true.
all right, Slam, shut the door on them. I'm gonna roll out some numbers. Dak Prescott, 23 or 43, 254 yards, a pick, and a touchdown. Um, Garoppolo, 16 or 25, one pick, no touchdowns. Again, this was a team that was like, we don't need to beat ourselves to beat this team, and that was why my answer was the reason why the Cowboys lost was because of a very very intelligently coached team that had some tools and maximize them. You know, we both agree anything other than their maximum effort would have been a loss. So, you agree?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so cool. Let's go to our second topic. This is topic 2, people. The NFL pick 6 is gone, and the fans have actually absolutely housed us. So we got so mad that the fans housed us. We're not doing fans for the playoffs. Right now, it's just going to be me and Rob. It's going to be mano a mano. We're going to call this the Consolation Bowl. All right. Rob was 4-2 last week. I was 5-1. I picked the Cowboys. That's what I get. I would have been 6-0. Rob, you finished 46-42. I finished 50-38. The fans have finished 49-31. Congratulations to all of the people: Taylor Crabb, Sean Ladig, like all of our volleyball people who came through, my entertainment people. Thank you so much for coming through. With that being said, we go to pick 6 to Rob and Jason's pick 4. Let's go with the first game: Cincinnati Bengals, Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I just think the Bengals are going to win this game. Although, the Titans are a good, tough team. Going to be at home. First playoff game. I just don't think, they're that type of playoff team. They're not in that type of playoff atmosphere. The cold weather force you to run the ball all the time. It's going to be a bit of a shootout. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Bengals.
Okay. I'm going with the Titans, but I will say this: if the Bengals win this, then it's a bandwagon that I'd be willing to ride all the way to the Super Bowl. This is the number 1 seed playing their best football at the right time, right? They got their feature running back. Tannehill has done a good job. Mike Vrabel's a very highly capable coach, and for all those reasons, I'm going with the Titans. I think it's going to be a blowout, and if I'm wrong, probably because the Bengals will win a closer game. Let's go Niners versus Packers. I'm going to go first. Niners playing with house money, maximized everything that they had to beat the Dallas Cowboys, but what they did was show Green Bay a blueprint on how they can be beat. And Green Bay has very good coaching. Matt LaFleur has never won less than 12 games all 3 of his seasons. Their defense is stout, and even on their worst day, they bend but not break. They have the best quarterback in the league, who should be MVP. So with a blueprint and the tools to do it, and you're probably going to be a lot shorter than me on this one. I'm going with the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers. I think it's just going to be too much. And I think the defense of the Packers has gotten so great, like so much better this year. They're going to put up enough defense, and they're going to do great. So,
okay,
I'm going to have to go with the
Packers, right?
Yeah.
All right, Bobby McGee. We got Rams at the Bucks. You're going to go first on this one. Good game, man. This might be the feature.
It is a good game.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because I thought the Cardinals just kind of threw a dud out there. I didn't even think that was a competitive game. So it's hard to tell what the Rams are going to bring, week to week. And I always think that consistency is going to, make a tough game. But I just think the Buccaneers are playing great football, so I'm going to go with the Bucks, and I think it's going to be a close game, mildly close game, but 28-14,
Yeah. Hey, the Bucks have already shown that they can deal with quarterbacks who have stronger arms, right? I mean, Jalen Hurts is actually even a little bit more mobile than Matthew Stafford, which makes us imagine how Hurts would have been if he were actually the quarterback for the Rams, but he isn't. Matthew Stafford's the quarterback for the Rams, and he played what I would describe, affectionately referred to as well enough, and well enough is not going to win this game. I got the Bucks. Last game, Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll go first. Rob, keep it McLean. I have only picked against my Bills one time this whole season, and I lost. I picked the Patriots, no less. The biggest betrayal for any Buffalo Bills fan. They asked me to turn in my hat, in fact. And I'm not doing it again. They played Kansas City last year, and it was a game that they could have won, but the wheels came off. They played Kansas City this year, and they it was a close game, and then they ran away at the end. Like we know these no two scores are alike, right? It was like 38-24, something like that. But we know they got some scores at the end. So it was always one of those things, especially for Bills fans, where we're like, don't find a way to lose this. They play well on the road. I mean, yep, I go Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go with the Chiefs. I think they're just playing their best ball, and their defense is kind of made to take out quarterbacks. Yeah, they're covering everything. I really like the way their defense is playing, and then Patrick Mahomes, doing his thing now. I just it's kind of funny. You almost think maybe they did that on purpose in the beginning. Kind of challenge him and put some complex stuff out there to force him to kind of like buckle down a bit because he was playing pretty loose and almost too loose, and
Yeah,
then a lot of interceptions. But yeah, uh, he's full throttle right now, and I just don't think again there's a better quarterback in the league.
yeah.
So he's definitely going to win this game for them.
Do you think the way they're playing right now, do you see them going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, then think about who they're going to play after this. Between the
The Titans
Bengals
and
and
Bengals, yeah.
you know, I just don't think there's much of a challenge. I think the Bengals win that game. It's like very, very, very small percentage they're going to go to the Super Bowl because they're every win they have, like they were even saying, it's like almost an underdog thing. They're either going on the road twice, they'd have to win on the road to go to the Super Bowl. I just don't see that. So
Yeah,
just for the matchups that could happen after, you
right.
know.
Yeah, yep, I agree. I agree, and I'll leave it at that. You got a good mic drop, and I'm gonna shut up. Let's go to topic three. We're going to the UFC. Everybody keeps saying that the UFC is back this week, and I'm like, wait. The fact of the matter is, there was an event last week, and it wasn't particularly star driven. But if you stuck around to watch the main event, Rob, oh my God, Chikadze and Calvin Kattar, an absolute 5 round.
Giga. There
Yes,
was no Giga kick. Where was the Giga kick? It was
I don't
just
know.
punch,
Maybe
punch, punch, punch,
do you think
punch,
he's scared of the
punch.
takedown? Because Kattar is more like he's a complete fighter.
I just think that they did a whole like I'm the best boxer, you're the best boxer kind of thing. And they just went at it with the hands and they thought they were better than the other guy. And Calvin Kattar is just clearly the quicker, faster, more technical striker when it comes
Yeah.
to
How about that
boxing.
jab,
You know,
dude? That jab was a real thing, dude. That jab
that's what
dictated
I
the
mean.
whole pace of the fight. In fact, I haven't seen a jab that good probably since George St. Pierre and Josh Koscheck, right? I mean, it's a highly undervalued thing in mixed martial arts because you're thinking about 8 points like elbows, knees, feet, on hands or whatever, and this and that. And this guy for
Yeah,
5 rounds just was like, I think you mentioned something a few weeks ago. It's not about your reach; it's about how knowing how to use it.
yeah, using your reach. Yeah.
He slipped in, man. It was. The judges said 50-45. Yeah, I agree. I'll go with that. I could go with that one. Um,
Crazy that nobody got finished in that fight.
yeah,
I
5 round
thought a
display of
couple
heart, man.
times.
5 round display of
Yeah,
heart. I mean, we're doing our match of the year, man. Too bad this one was January because people are quick to forget. All right, but now let's
true.
talk about the double main event. We got UFC 270 coming up this weekend. The heaviest weight division and the lightest weight division are going to be on full display, showcasing the best of each weight class. So Rob, let's pour through the double main event, and then we'll do like a radar thing, like a match to watch on our radar, right? And I'll make sure I pull it up for our followers who have the video version to check it out. So,
Sure.
who you got for Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno in this just amazing trilogy? Bringing people up to speed. The first one was a
Right.
draw. It was so good. They had a rematch, and Moreno won by submission, and Davison Figueiredo didn't have to cut weight. I just saw a picture. He didn't. He's right there. He got it training.
It's crazy.
Who do you got?
I I don't know, man. I mean, I think this is going to be another. I don't think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to just kind of be a slugfest. But I just think Moreno is a better technical fighter. I think he may not have all the talents that Figueiredo has, but he goes in there. He has a different mindset about it. He's not, as we were saying before about the football player, about being too loose. being loose is great, but you also need to have some focus and some direction.
No
And I
doubt.
think Figueroa has just zero direction in there. He's just kind of like, I'll react to what you do, but I won't put pressure on you. And Moreno is like, okay, well, I'm going to do what I do then. And yeah, I mean, can Moreno lose a fight? Absolutely. And I think that that's what makes it interesting. But I just don't see that situation happening, where Moreno puts himself in a uh, a bad exchange, and he loses that exchange, and then continues to do bad things to where Figueroa can figure out how to finish him. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna have to go with Moreno on that one.
and I do too. And I do too. And I'll tell you why. It's that Figueiredo, if he had a game plan and executed that and had his plan B and plan C, and for 5 rounds executed that play, that whatever, sooner or later the constant pressure of just being technical and intelligent would be enough to smother Moreno and win by decision, or maybe even like just have the ref say he's seen enough. But Davison Figueiredo is too much of what we call a man. I sound sexist by saying this, but at some point they're gonna exchange, right? And he's it's the same thing's gonna happen. He's gonna be like, I'm not gonna be the first one to fall. Let's go. And you can't fuck with the Mexicans, dude. You can't mess with the Mexican dudes, man. You
Well,
can't. Sorry.
no, it's that, but it's also, like the age old saying, where if you're gonna try to beat somebody with strength and power, there's always gonna be somebody a little bit stronger and more powerful.
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is. So people cannot say what they want about Brandon Moreno, but he's clearly shown that he can, stun and stop Figueroa, where um, he doesn't want to exchange like that, and that's really what happens. Is about second, third round in the fight, you see Figueroa on his back foot all the time because he can't really, stun Moreno, or when he does, he kind of doesn't follow up on it. So it's just like that's what I mean. Is like eventually he's just fighting a very simple fight, very skillful fighter, very unbelievable fighter, but he's just fighting a lower. I don't want to say IQ fight, but he's just fighting a less interesting fight.
Yeah.
To be honest,
And I
less
mean,
entertaining.
and the MMA fans, they get what you're saying. You're not trying to cast any aspersions on anyone's intelligence, right? Do we both agree the champion and the number one contender are the best two in the division right now? Are these
Oh,
the best two
absolutely,
guys in the division? In fact, with a
absolutely,
separation. Yep.
absolutely.
Going with you on that one. Let's go. Let's go to the main event. We both got Moreno. Let's go to the main event. We got Francis Ngannou, who's the current champ, going against the interim champ, I believe undefeated Cyril Gane. Um, I'm gonna go first. You got somebody that can stand in the pocket like Cyril Gane that can take a hit. You got someone who's probably not going to get into that slugfest with him. I picked Gane because even if he gets hit, it's not like going to be this autopilot where he has to hit back and lose to someone that can drop a pickup truck with one or two shots, right? I mean, that's Ngannou, right? Factor into it that as good as Ngannou's conditioning has gotten over the last few fights. I mean, he looked terrific against Stipe. He looked like he could have done that. He looked like he could have done that all 5 rounds. He didn't look like the oxygen and the burn was gonna slow down, was gonna like fatigue his muscles. That was ridiculous. So I had to highlight that before I would say Gane's gas tank is better. Um, but it is better. At the end of the day, as good as Ngannou's gotten, Cyril Gane's gas tank is better. He has more tools in the toolbox. That fight goes on the ground. I don't think he's going to be doing a wrestler's like dominant position and giving them noogies. I think Gane's going to go for submissions, and I don't think Ngannou has seen anyone with this man's submission capability at this whatever. I mean, you'd have to go back to Fabricio Berduminas in their prime. Anyone whose last name is Nogueira, right? And of course Frank Mir, who doesn't just submit people, he breaks things, right? So, and those people don't. With respect to those legends, probably first ballot Hall of Famers, how many of those people actually have the striking ability as well as the submission game in wrestling is Gane? Gane is just. Am I a prisoner of the moment, Rob? The floor is yours. Pick, but I want you to tell me if I'm just seeing what I see and I'm a
I
little
think.
biased.
I mean, I think I am too because I definitely think this fight's going to be a lot more competitive than I think than it might actually be.
Uh huh.
Um, but yeah, I think honestly, there's two ways that this fight goes. It either goes Ngannou's way, which is stand up, and he shows what he did against Stipe, which is that Stipe uh, couldn't take him down, and when he tried to take him down, he punished him. And that's all Ngannou has to do is has to touch somebody with his hands. That's what we all have to realize. It's like he can
Just
touch somebody anywhere. It could be a body shot, it could be a head shot, it could be anything. So and if he comes out with that aggression, on being a defensive fighter so that he can be an offensive fighter like he did against Stipe. And granted, Stipe is not much bigger than Gon. I mean, he's about the same size. So, the same thing physically could happen is where Gon can shoot and he can really just muscle him out of the way. My issue is Gon and him. If Francis doesn't understand that he's trying to get him to clench, because I believe that that's Francis's big weakness is that he doesn't have a clench game and doesn't really know how to work in close and tight like that.
yeah, he's improved,
Technically,
but I
yeah,
mean,
but I
to
mean,
what end?
but these are the weaknesses. What can you do? Okay, I got to get inside on a guy because he can hit some haymakers, um, but up close, it kind of stunts his power. If Gon's able to do that, he's going to be able to take him down. So I think there's just levels to it, and Gon's an experienced guy. They've had almost what a year now or 6 months now to because they knew before that fight was gonna, before Gon's last two fights that Gon he wins two, he can get to the title fight, and I think they've been preparing for this fight for a while, both of them. So you're going to see a very high
Yeah.
level chess match. Who do I have? I really think it's going to be Ngannou. To be honest,
Ooh,
yeah, I think
okay.
we're going to see that he's just an athletic freak, and again, all he has to do is swing, which I say this about Derek Lewis, is all you got to do is swing, and you'll have a lot more wins. I think Ngannou's in the perfect position where people have to come after him. God has to come after him, and
Right.
third, fourth round. I'm saying fourth, maybe end of the fourth, early fifth.
Hmm.
There's going to be an exchange in there that has to happen.
Yeah. And he
And we'll
has
see. We'll
And
see
Ngannou
if
has touching power for all pretty much all 5 rounds.
yeah,
Right? There's a reason why people are
yeah.
going to sit through all 5 rounds. Like, remember when Stipe
Yeah.
beat him, like
Hmm.
I think 4-1 or 5-0. The whole match, nobody left because they thought if
He is going to get up.
that one
And then he
shot,
did get up, and he hit him once or twice, and then
yeah,
they got him back down. And again, that's the thing. Like, I thought that Stipe did a very, rushed kind of trying to take down Ngannou. If Gan can kind of work a takedown, and slowly get him to the ground and get him into a position he probably hasn't worked on wrestling. He probably hasn't worked. He's probably worked on a lot of defense and a lot of, but I'm sure that weakness is still there. Is where you can kind of just manhandle him on the ground for a little bit, and that's the only time again you've ever seen his cardio been tested. All other times when he's on his feet, he looks like you said, that he can do that for 5 rounds. He can be
yeah,
athletic and explosive for 5 rounds. So
yeah.
that's scary. So, and again, with the takedown and all that, that's first 2 rounds, maybe 3 rounds max. After that, there's no takedowns. There's no, especially with guys
It's
that
gonna be
big,
standing,
it's going to
right?
be
Yeah,
two. Yeah, he's going to be standing.
yeah.
So,
Well, didn't we see a glimpse of Ngannou's wrestling? I remember Stipe went for a leg, and then the way he reversed, swung around, and then like hit him from behind.
beat him
All
up.
of us
Yep.
went,
I know. I
what
was
just
like, whoa.
happened? All right, so give me one match on your radar. We're gonna move on to our next topic, but here's a little shot of the pay per view. Okay, we got the top
Yeah, I
two right
mean,
here, right?
mhm.
This is the one I like: Cody Stamen and Nurmagomedov. I mean, we all think Nurmagomedov is gonna win, but Cody is Cody's a gamer, man. That's the match I want to watch.
Well, if that's yours, then I have one in the early prelims I actually want to watch. Is Giles and Morales. That thing that looks really dope. So I'm gonna
Nice.
I'm gonna enjoy that fight, I believe.
Nice, cool, man. 100%. So, all right. So that closes the door on MMA, at least for now. Maybe we'll do a little bit more on quick question. But moving on, my man, we are going to move on to my favorite topic, to shame or not to shame. Don't miss this up, Jay.
Shame. 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 Shame.
All right, Rob. So here we go. We got our minute. Rob, to shame or not to shame, topic number one. We have two topics today for to shame or not to shame. Dak Prescott in a press conference responded to a question as to whether he knew that fans were throwing trash at the refs, and his response was, credit to them. McLean, you're first. Shame or no shame?
Yeah, I mean that's totally shame. I mean Dak Prescott and the team got completely destroyed all night long by the 49ers. Had nothing to do with the refs. And they had 14 penalties. You know, you can take four of those maybe. 10 penalties is still inexcusable, you know, and that's a playoff game. That's a playoff team, you know, and their strength being offense. So I just think it goes to show that again that the leadership in that locker room is just non-existent, and there's nobody really to step up to kind of right that ship. Again, it could have been the coach, but that's a lot to put on a coach. You know, it takes time. It takes nurturing of team captains that will be your guys in the locker room. But yeah, just um, really tough to see because Dak Prescott. You always think the best of him. You always think the best of people, but in those situations, you never really say the right thing. So
Yeah. Rob, I got to go. I'm with you on this. I got to go shame, and there's a pretty simple reason why. Accountability is the epitome of maturity. If you know that the referee has to spot the ball and not you, and the referee has to weave through you guys to spot the ball, and you blame the ref for taking 2 seconds off of your clock, you can't say credit to the fans. That's bush league, and there's an element of forgiveness because he's in the game and he just came from the game and he speaks with a level of self honesty. And yeah, I think if I were in that position, I'd be like, man, I just want to throw something at the ref too. But with that being said, if they want to talk all that shit about gladiators in the arena, or if you don't know what we've been through, you can't talk. If we don't know what you've been through, and if you're there, then be there. If you're that guy, right? And if you're this professional player and this professional athlete, then be that guy. Don't go to the fans and say you don't know, you don't understand. No, we do understand. We understand you're a professional. All right. And I know this is in the United States of America. I know the word accountability is not a healthy thing to talk about because this is a nation full of finger pointers. Let's just face it. But ownership, like, man, I wish that was a mistake on our part and a big mistake, and it might have cost us a shot at the end zone. Because I'm not saying cost them the game. I mean, at what point were they even leading, right? Cost them the game. So, all right, topic
and
two.
delusional Cowboy fans.
Oh my God! All right, to shame or not to shame, Djokovic gets removed or ousted from the Australian Open. Um, Shame on Djokovic or shame on Australia?
I
You don't
mean,
need a whole minute
honestly,
for
I
this.
think, yeah, I think it's just a shame on both of them. You know, I think that the communication could have been a lot more clear, and I think that maybe they had a point that he had maybe had a faulty or false documents that they're not trying to put out there. So it is what it is. I just think they could have been a lot more clear to each other to avoid bad PR. Let's just keep it like that.
Nice. We're gonna all put this in a minute. I think it's a shame on not on Djokovic, but for whoever's in charge of that. I mean, we both know Djokovic ain't filling out no forms. They just tell him sign here. He's like sign over here, boom, and that's what it is. That's what you get for being a rock star and one of the original gangsters of tennis. All right. So, shame on his people because there's a document that asks if he's been in another country besides his home country within 14 days, and I think he was in Serbia, like 12 days or whatever. And it is nitpicking, but it is the rules. And there was a lesser ranked tennis that got disqualified from the tournament too. So big, no shame for tennis for actually not having a double standard, even though sometimes double standards are necessary for the sport, but not, not for the sake of, I don't know. There was a principle thing, and I'm glad that Australia and tennis got together and stuck by that, So, and that's it. So, Rob, we have next topic coming up. Turn off my key. This is Rob's favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you quick question. Robbie, quick question. Are the Splash Brothers back? Yes or no?
Oh no, not yet. Not
Okay.
yet.
I say no, but keep looking. Quick question. Will Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes meet in the Super Bowl? Um, I'll go first. No. I think it's Titans or the
I
Bills.
I think so. I think so.
Okay. But I do think Rodgers goes. I think Rodgers has to be the one to push Brady off the cliff here. Quick questions. The Jets have not been to the playoffs since the 2010 season. Do you see a path where they make the playoffs next season or the one after that? Yes or no?
Yeah. No. The Jets. No, I can't see that. I mean, yeah. I don't. They don't have enough talent on their roster. Sorry, I was thinking about somebody else.
You're the boys in blue, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, Gangrene. Your team's nickname is Gangrene. That's all you need to know, man. No. Okay.
Cut them off.
Yes.
Cut them off.
Just give them the chop. As my Jewish friend says in New York, just give them the chop. Geno Smith arrested for DUI. Is he done in the NFL?
Yeah, probably.
Me too. I don't know how many. He's got more chances than Lindsey Lohan in court, man. And I think that he just blew his last one. Panthers has no intention of trading McCarthy. Good move on their part. Or should they just get a bunch of cash?
He's a stud. He's a stud. No, he's a stud football player. They just gotta let him get healthy and use him the right way.
Keep McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
Yeah, keep McCaffrey, and still got a quarterback issue, but that's not the question. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson, 36, still wants to play. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I mean, Frank Gore played till whatever, and he wasn't even doing very well. So I mean, thumbs up to him. Make him make his money, and do what he wants to do. But I think they're gonna probably outlaw that sometime soon because I'm sure he's got some sort of CTE.
Yeah.
He be running hard.
Me personally, I say thumbs up, but like in the broader scope of things and what's right for his health in this way, and for the people who recognize a legacy. Some people stick around longer and their legacy is more like diluted.
Right.
I go thumbs down. If I got to choose one, thumbs down. Sorry, Adrian. Which game this weekend put a big smile on your face?
I mean, yeah, I'll say the Dallas and the and 49ers, but just because, I really thought the 49ers are such an underappreciated team, and they got to play on one of the biggest stages and they beat them up all game long, just like a real playoff team should, up front first. And yeah, they just did it the right way. So it was great to see.
No doubt. Quick question. Can the Bengals win the Super Bowl if they can beat the Titans?
No, I think every game for them is just an underdog game. So can they win the Super Bowl? Sure. But I think every game for them is just going to take more and more and more out of them. So I think they win this week against the Titans, but they lose the next week against probably Green Bay. Yeah.
Yep. I go no. I think they know they're the house money team and they know they got a quarterback who's the engine that thought he could. But at the end of the day, all around coaching schemes and talent wins, and they just don't have enough talent. But the kids are all right, huh? Chase and Burrow. The kids, they haven't seen anything like that since Dalton and AJ Green. Even the dog agrees with that one.
My God.
Quick question: is Jalen Hurts still the man for the Eagles? Sorry, is Jalen? Quick question: is Jalen Hurts still the man for the Eagles?
Um, no, I think they're gonna move on from him, and they're gonna pick some decent players. Some of the quarterbacks that are coming out this year, like a Matt Corral or a Kenny Pickett.
Nice. I say yes. I
Yeah.
think he'll get some tools. I think he'll have a running back with maybe people can remember their names. And yeah, he's the best guy for the job for the Eagles, at least for now. There's no one else on the horizon right now. Quick question: should McCarthy lose his job? I'll go first on this one.
um,
I say no. 12 wins is a real thing. This is a huge debacle, and at the end of the day, we know the coach has to fall on that sword. But he fell, and the way he fell on that sword, it was like a little bee, complaining about the referees. I don't like that either, but and that kind of thing, that lack of accountability should get you fired. But no, I think he gets one more season with the guys uninjured.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you gotta see what you got. Yeah, McCarthy. I think he's got at least another year or two. Hopefully they get more out of Zeke. I think that's the big deal, is like tailoring your team to get more out of your running backs, and that makes everything easy.
Nice, cool. Well, that concludes quick question. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go, big up Cincinnati winning their first playoff game since 1990. Boomer Esiason was the quarterback. The Bills and the Giants were in the Super Bowl. I was joining the United States Army.
I was being born, or I was a year old.
Yeah. And Stephen A. Smith had a hairline. Rob's like, hey, let's lay off the hair, okay? Rob, is there anything you would like to tell our general audience before we leave this place, but never their presence?
Just stay happy and healthy, yo.
Stay happy, stay healthy. Rob's got a lot of love. And hey, even Hater Jay, I got some love. Happy New Year. Glad you got over COVID. I ain't trying to air your laundry out there, but I know it's a pretty nasty bout, and it's one of those things where, and here you are and you're back, So love and respect to you and your family, of course. Miranda, who's my sound technician, who's going to be joining us at some point. Got some big episodes coming up this week. Got a couple of medical professionals. We're going to talk some fun, have some fun. But for now, for all of you watching, for all of you at home, for my man Rob, keep it McLean. I'm Jason DeBilius. We're out of here. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify, and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.